to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this 5th day of January. Last weekend of the regular season in the NFL, guys. Got a really good weekend. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are benching players. Didn't pick that many great games to talk about. Carlos Madden, New Yorker Chavez, if he's here today, he hasn't popped up yet. But either way, going to give you a national championship pick here. A quick breakdown of that. But first, let's go ahead and take our first and only break. And I'll be back here in 49 seconds here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Alrighty then. Okay, I see Carlos back there right now. Hey, man, good to see you.
Yo. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yeah.
A lot of sports going on. Butler games going on. Knicks are going on.
Hey, the Butler game's always going on Sports Scope now.
I like that. It's a bull.
Yeah, hey, are you going to get any snow up there in the city?
Man, I've been
Probably not.
Lighting candles, rubbing rosary beads. No, I hope not, man. I think it's just going to be like a light precipitation, but they got more salt on these freaking streets than they do on the pretzels. So let's just hope they keep it.
What about Keith Engel?
I don't know. He might get snowed in. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, he works from home. I mean, he could just, he
works he works remotely, right? So he don't need to be on the streets, like so.
Good to see you, man. I'm still not 100%. Just kind of work with me, brother.
Nah, that's all right, bro.
Been dealing with flu-like symptoms all week.
The Alabama laws hit both of us.
that was rough, yeah. But let me ask you: you're in New York. There was a big trade with the Knicks. I didn't want to forget this. OG Anunoby, I guess is his name. For RJ Barrett. Now the Knicks are 2-0. What's your thoughts about that trade, though? Since that trade was happening.
So it's just the management trying to move contracts and move people around and just trying to, it's been this is gonna be the fourth year coming up after this season for Tibbs, and he's trying to. I guess he's trying to build something, but I mean, the Knicks is still about 3 players short of being like a championship caliber team anyway. So I mean, as many moves as you want to make, you can't say this is a basketball move. It does make the Knicks a bit better as far as like defensively.
Yeah, I was saying, they beat Minnesota the other day. I think they beat Chicago. I want to say they're favored tonight.
Yeah. So I mean, I like that this kid, like they wanted to get him last year, but
everybody wanted him.
Yeah, Toronto Raptors were asking for too much. He told his agent try to make New York happen, which is good. That means that he wants to be here, but who don't want to be in New York and get paid New York money? But I like they're still gonna have to sign him up if he that after the end of the season. So I mean, the team is slightly better. It's not, you're not going with the guys that you pick in Quickly or Barrett, but that's basketball. Basketball's business, bro. And I just wish that the Knicks would just stop trying to get a big jersey. You don't need to sell. You're going to sell more tickets if the team does better and it works better.
Who was the guy they brought in last year at the trade deadline? Do you remember his name?
Cam?
I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
From Atlanta? They made that move from Atlanta?
No, the guy that used to be a teammate with
what's his name?
Yeah.
Hart.
Josh Hart. I thought that was a pretty good trade, man.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the chemistry there. I mean, that's what they're trying to do is fit chemistry.
Right, but again, man, I keep trying to tell folks, man, these leagues are not for development. These leagues are to pay big money and to get wins and to get, the people attending the games to get excited. Like, you want to develop people, go to the minor league.
They get tired of developing RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I mean, because the problem is that it's Tibbs. Tibbs wants RJ Barrett to play a certain way, and RJ Barrett's he doesn't do what Tibbs wants him to do, and defense is one of those things that Tibbs wants him to do. Yeah, but you're also playing these guys 30, 40 minutes. You're still being Tibbs, and that's not going to help the Knicks. Even with the trade picks available, and and people can get moved around here and there in the NBA. I still don't think the Knicks are going to be good for the next 2 or 3 years. I want them to be, and they're going to, maybe be a playoff push. But this is like having the New York Giants and playing in the NBA. It's like you want them to be successful, but that there's a ceiling to be reached, and they're not close at all. So,
right.
It's good to see the development with the young guys. It's good to see the young guys. I like it. I like the youth. I like the speed. Basketball is totally different than it was before. It's not a half court game anymore. But like you can't just be running these guys like Tibbs he's got his system, and he's got to work around that, man. He's got to change, because if he doesn't change, basketball's changed. And if he doesn't change, then he's part of the problem, not the solution.
Well, they won a round last year, and
but they don't. The Giants won a round last year. I don't want to hear this crap. This is not what we pay this money for, bro. We pay a lot of money to see these games, man.
Yeah,
we pay a lot of money, Rob. We pay a lot of money.
Who is? I mean, everybody wants to win a championship,
Yeah, of course.
I mean, the best team is Denver. You're not going to get the Joker. You got to be realistic.
Yo, but you know what we can get? We can get we can get what's his name from the Dallas Mavericks.
Who? Luka?
We could get Luka. We could.
For what?
If we made a good deal, we could for these draft picks.
I don't know. I think they're still playing pretty well with Luka.
At the end of the day, this management, it's the same stuff for the last 30 years. They just chasing jersey sales. Look, at the end of the day, like, they don't draft well. So why are they looking for more drafts? So they don't have to pay big contracts? It's the same thing. You're not.
Well, they want to do like what Oklahoma City and
they're not Oklahoma. This isn't the same management team.
No, they're using those picks to acquire players.
Yeah, but they
know how the NBA works, man.
Yeah, I know how it works, and they ain't working it right here in New York. That's why I'm a frustrated basketball fan. That's why I'm watching college games, and I'm like, look at this. Look at Butler in Connecticut. They're playing good basketball. It's competitive. Like, come on. Like, they got me watching college as if like as if I live in the middle of Iowa or something. Come on, man. I'm in New York watching championship basketball. Let's do this.
It's hard to beat Boston and Denver in one trade, but you got to do something. And I feel like they've done something. I was like you when I first saw that trade. I was like, this is BS. Then I started looking at it, reading about it, and then just the 2 games. But chemistry's a big deal in this league. Look at Denver. Doesn't look like the best team on paper. If you look at them, it looks like the Clippers. As far as like look at a bunch of stars, but look at the chemistry that Denver has to the club. I'm using for example, Hey, can you hold on for a second? I'm burning up in here. I'm gonna have to go to a quick commercial break. I'm gonna flip the AC on. I'll be right back, Chief. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to Sports, that is Sports with an S, another S, Scope. All right, sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
It gets hot in this kitchen, man. It's like a studio.
Oh,
okay,
man.
So
when you're stunner, you're gonna stay hot, son.
Yeah, it's hot in here.
Woo! Remember them days back at the club?
Let's go back to Monday night. Let's start off with Alabama, Michigan, chronological order, and get your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a great game by Alabama.
I got water, Pickles. He said there telling me to hydrate.
Yeah, it was a great game. Alabama, Michigan. It was good. I mean, it was, as far as theatrics, it was kind of sloppy though. But they both played sloppy, so it kind of balanced out. Kudos to Michigan and their defense. They stepped up. Alabama lost their opportunity. I feel like they gave the game away, but this is an opportunity. Saban, he can use this as a recruiting, to try to keep recruits there and keep the players from bouncing off the team, because they're close. They just need a little bit more depth. They're close. They're not a bad team. And Nick Saban coached them up more this year than any other year because of the talent he had. And that's good for him, man. That shows also other kids, and they can talk about him and be like, yo, Coach Saban took us to the promised land, and we had a lot less talent than we used to. So, if you come to my team, we can make it there, So those kind of things matter, even though they don't have a problem really with trying to get players. But I think their problem was keeping players and keeping them motivated, because money talks, man. And I know Saban, I'm sure he kind of shorts a little bit on a few of those players there, but he keeps them honest, and that's the kind of coaching and mentality and motivation you need actually to have and grow mature men, right? Like, you can be honest and real with them and be like, listen, man, you might get money, but you're not gonna get a championship, right? Like, so those kind of things you got to learn the hard way too. As you get older, just because you're winning as a youngster don't mean you're gonna win in the NFL level.
Don't you feel like this is probably his least talented team? Yeah, and since year one. Don't count year one.
Right.
And Alabama.
And let's get this straight.
They kind of live by the seat of their pants all season.
Yeah. But let's get this straight. As far as we say talent, like I feel like there was less depth than there was talent. The talent was
depth is probably the better word I'm looking at.
Yeah, because
we're used to Alabama having a bunch of depth.
There you go. Right. Yeah, so and on the flip, Michigan has a lot of talent and depth, which I think we saw that when
there was another running back that really showed out, and I didn't see that coming.
Right. Yeah. I don't think Alabama could prepare for that. So. I think it was in that retrospect, and what I saw from them playing Ohio State and that conference,
You mean Michigan? Yeah.
They did above and beyond what I was used to watching, and I commend them for that too, because this is the first time in a long time that SEC is not represented in a bowl game. So,
do you think Monday's is Jim Harbaugh's last game, regardless?
I think so. I mean, he even hired
he hired the agent,
that has
Brady's agent
coaches. Yeah, Brady's agent, that has a couple coaches and a few players. So I think he don't want to deal with this NCAA. The NCAA is very passive, right? Yeah, and then they get on you for doing things that other schools are doing and the compliances that they have to maintain. Like when I worked at Austin Peay, all that. I used to tell you that they got to review.
Yeah, I was a reporter for the paper. I knew all that crooked stuff he's doing, but we were boys. I didn't want to tell on you. No, I'm kidding.
No, I wasn't doing anything crooked. No, but it's like all the paper. Remember, it used to be like, oh, like what's going on? Like, hey, you got they got scholarship players that need to play. Some are hurt. This and that. Like, there's a lot of little things there that add up. That's too much, I think, for when you want to just focus on coaching football. So. It's like that in the NFL, but the best thing about being in the NFL is that the team is in charge of hiring people. So you're not there and you're not worried about a budget. You just be like, go talk to the owner, So
that's true.
So
that's true.
It's a different animal for sure.
Yeah, I you know what? I couldn't tell you what Jim Harbaugh's going to do. I don't know if he'll take that, like we talked about before. If he's going to take the Charger job, there's an issue with the son. The son's got to talk to him. It cannot be the dad.
The problem, the fact that you're saying that, means that a lot of older
probably is not going to happen.
They're not. The Chargers are not going to get an older, mature.
That's why I'm thinking maybe he just takes the hit from NCAA and stays in Michigan.
Man, you know what? Nothing, but and I know Ken Norton's a smart dude, but man, I feel like Ken Norton should be a coach, man. I keep saying it, and I'm gonna put a website.
Where's Ken Norton coach? Oh, for 49ers?
Yeah, Ken Norton Jr. Like right now, he's coaching up the linebackers at UCLA, I believe.
Okay.
But that's the most winningest person. You want that kind of mentality, man. You want somebody to be like, yo, this is.
I think he was a linebacker with the Cowboys.
Yeah, he won three Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowl with the Cowboys. He won with the 49ers. So. He won in college. He won as a coach in college.
His dad was a good boxer.
Yeah, his dad was a championship boxer.
Yeah, he beat Ali. Then Ali beat him.
You know, like this is the kind of mentality, the kind of guy that you want to just, be on the team with, man. Like, and I feel bad that he's not a coach in the NFL, and I don't know what they're doing over there in the NFL. But if I was a team and I was looking for a coach, that's the one guy I call up straight up.
Yeah,
because you want champ. You want.
Yeah, I don't know. It's defensive side, man. You seen what the trends are going right now. It's all
not about trends, man. You want winning. You want winners. You can't go for trend setting if you're not winning nothing. It don't matter. Look at the Jets.
The trends are the trends for a reason, because the rules are slanted towards the offense.
We've been trend setting since 1972. We ain't won
all
nothing.
Right. Well, we'll find out in the next few weeks. I don't think he'll make an immediate decision. If Michigan wins the whole thing, they'll have a parade or whatever. He'll give it a few days.
I'm picking Washington over Michigan. Washington's been my dark horse all year.
Yeah.
I thought that they did a good job getting Penix. They did a good job getting that coach.
Yeah.
And they played out the Pac-12. They've been the most war tested team out there, battle tested. And I feel like they're ready for this, and they're gonna be in a battle, but I think they know about stamina, right? I don't feel like Michigan has enough stamina. They might have depth, but
yeah. You know what? That was a very late game, and I started feeling bad about Monday night. I went to bed really early. Felt sick, woke up. I thought the game was over. It's like 11:15 Central Time. And I'm hitting this phone right here, and I'm thinking, okay, it's saying, Washington's up by 13 in the fourth quarter, but it's like 11 minutes to go. I'm like, refresh. I was like, okay, I can't go back to sleep. Turn the game on. And then you know what happened. Texas was playing catch up, but Washington was the better team practically the whole game. By the way, Dylan Johnson's going to be back. The running back got hurt at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was done, but now they're saying that he's going to play. He's going to play Monday.
Yeah, you know what? I like that from the kid because he don't know if he's going to get drafted anyways. He'll go to the NFL draft, but that don't mean that he's going to get drafted high or So this is just him trying to get himself in a better position. And if he's hurt and he's drafted in the later rounds, he could sit out the first half of the season anyway for any NFL team. So you got to kind of put yourself in a better position as a kid coming out of college from a big university, because you might be going to the draft, but it don't mean you're going to get drafted. And I think that some kids forget that. I think they got so much NIL money and they got so much scholarship stuff, and they've been held up so much in their school that they forget that there ain't that many slots available in the NFL draft or even in an NFL team. So, and it's tough because there's actually a lot more talent out there than that we see and we're available and that are available to be on these teams. But, that's the business, right? That's the nature of the beast. So,
Do you think somebody will take a chance on Penix in the top 10? Now, remember, he's got the 2 ACLs going back to his Indiana days. But you know how these owners are. They see a guy playing well in the postseason, kind of like the NCAA tournament. I think I would take a chance on him.
Well, the problem with him is that he's been set up in a negative where you see some of these older quarterbacks coming out that had injuries, Ritter and
but he's way more time. I mean, Ritter's not even close to this.
No, but and
you're just using it for example.
Yeah, just an example. And so, but the reality and what I've always told you is that the draft is a draft. It can be anything. You can pick the best player and he can become the worst player on your team. So if you're betting on finding the next Dan Marino, the next Joe Montana, Like the draft isn't really the place.
It's
draft,
the only place.
No,
I mean?
No, because you spend more.
You don't going to get somebody else's player after they've been in the league. Not unless you're Green Bay and Atlanta back in '92.
Even the greatest quarterback that we've seen in our lifetime play more than any other quarterback and win has been Tom Brady, and he didn't come out of the first round of the NFL draft.
I mean, did you really think the kid from Texas Tech that Andy Reid traded up to get? I knew he had potential because I saw his workout.
Yeah, but that we see a lot of kids.
That was Patrick Mahomes for the audience.
We see a lot of kids. Ryan Leaf came out as a highly touted recruit, like was 5-star plus recruit and was highly touted to be a good NFL quarterback and all this and there's a lot of guys.
It took me 6 months to pronounce that guy from out of 2004 to pronounce his name from Miami, Ohio. It's like was it Hamburger? Oh, Rothis. Yeah,
nobody. You know how many people passed? A lot of guys passed on him, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And
could Penix be that guy? Penix is, he makes throws that look like Joe Burrow, man. He threads the needle. Those are NFL throws that he's making.
Can we just do a better comparison? He kind of reminds me of Warren Moon in the sense of how.
Well, he got a deep ball like Warren Moon.
Yeah, he got a deep ball like him.
It's real pretty and straight.
Yeah, like he don't mess. Like
he's a lefty like Burnell. I mean,
Yeah, so
Mark Burnell, who also went to Washington.
Yeah, I have high hopes, but I feel like the NFL is going to do him wrong, and he might end up being a second to a bottom third because of his pass. But
he'll fall to a contender perhaps.
I don't.
If you're Tennessee, let me just throw this hypothetical, not to stay too long on this. I threw this out the other night. You sit there with that 7th pick. Atlanta hasn't done anything. Atlanta's got the 10th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you call Arthur Smith if he's still a coach, right? Say, hey, listen, Arthur, do you want this kid? What's his clowns up there we got right now? Will Levis. You want Levis? Give us your 2nd round pick, and then you can use your 10th pick overall. You get the best player available, and then the 7th pick, you take Michael Penix. I would rather take a chance on him. I mean, Levis is just – Penix is the opposite of Levis. Penix, he's calm in the pocket. He has pocket awareness. He's humble. The opposite with Levis. He's he does not have pocket what do you call it?
Pocket
awareness. He has no awareness of where the pass rush is coming from. He's super cocky. He almost looks uncoachable. But maybe that's got the headband and all that crap. Kind of reminds me of that 80s quarterback from the 85 Bears.
McMahon? Jim McMahon? Look, I mean,
pocket awareness. Pickles knows my words. Yeah, pocket aware. He don't have self-awareness. He's an I'm not going to go all in on Levis. He might be a star next year, but still.
Well, you were calling for you and Angle were calling for him to be the next Ben Roethlisberger.
That's when I saw him play, and I'm like, no, I said I had concerns. He was hurt at Kentucky. Yeah. He got hurt in training camp. He's hurt now. Ron Tannehill will be starting Sunday.
Oh, geez. All those quarterbacks at Tennessee it didn't work out. It didn't work out in their favor. And again, but they're not – Tennessee's maybe a better place to try to develop a quarterback. But this isn't a developmental league, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Everybody's got to develop a guy.
So, that's why.
Well, no, that is true. Colin Cowherd says, and he does make a good point. I want to credit him. You usually want to give year 2 Thanksgiving because of all these quarterback camps and all this crap. These guys should have some skill around them. They should have something going on for themselves.
It's been a tough few years for NFL football. I've been saying this for years now.
Yeah, and this year is one of the worst.
And the very low in scoring, and TB12 and we talked about it. He took my ideas and ran with them.
Yeah,
everybody's all mad at him, and they're like, "Well, you were part of this struggle." I was like, "Whatever." So no, but at the end of the day, here's a question for you, Rob. If you're any NFL team and you pick Penix, are you starting him right away?
Well, I tell you what, if I got a decent line with him, yeah. This guy is he's a natural thrower of the ball.
I feel like he's going to get lost in the mix with the Colts or,
Oh, man. See, that got a good line. He would be perfect for them.
Maybe even he's just gonna get lost in the mix. Maybe Cleveland will pick him up. Who knows, man? This so
wow. Well, Cleveland's got they got Watson.
Yeah, and so
maybe Denver somebody. I don't know.
And Denver had.
Oh, he would be great with the Sean Payton. So let's go. Let's talk about last week, man. Lions Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that game? A little wild, kind of crazy finish there.
I say it is what it is. You shouldn't be waiting till the end, and this game shouldn't have gone to that point. If you're Detroit, I keep telling you, you got a quarterback that's serviceable, that's not good, and he proved it. And he's going to be proving that all the way to the end of your season, where you're not going to be in the Super Bowl. So you got to go with the winner, and he's not one. At Dallas, you don't have a running game. You better find one quick. If you don't, you and Detroit will be hanging out in the same fishing spot, not in the Super Bowl. So you guys figure that out. Yeah, I always told you I'm not a believer in McCarthy. I think he's very passive aggressive. I think he needs to get off his high horse and understand what kind of football team he has.
Yeah,
I'm glad that he has a guy like Prescott that can take a game over, but he doesn't need to take a game over. He needs to play the game and go.
What's
forward.
Your thoughts about that Detroit? Okay, Dan Campbell said, this is his words. People act like I'm making this up. Dan Campbell said we tried to confuse the Cowboys with the substitution. Well, you confused the referee, man.
Yeah,
with the Taylor Decker thing.
Those games, those little games that you play, those little little nicks that you put in knickknacks that you put in your play. The only problem in the NFL is that when you report as an eligible as a player that's eligible, you also have to give time for the defense to line up.
Yeah.
So you could easily confuse the defense and force them to try.
That's right.
Make them uncomfortable anyways when you do that. So it's not like a big gimmick, it's just something that you can throw in there and see, can this work, Plus, you put a guy who's eligible, he better be able to catch the ball after he blocks, right? So, or at least be good enough to be blocking and making great blocks. So you're not necessarily, it's a gimmick play, but it's not necessarily a great situation.
Do you think he should have went for it again when they got
he should have just went for
the point? I mean, God, they only had 23 seconds. Now Pickle says they ran 4 plays.
Yeah.
Well, the clock didn't tick at 23 seconds.
Well,
actually that would have helped Detroit, Pickles, instead of
Well, the problem with Pickles and Robert and you got to understand. You don't want to go to overtime because you don't trust your quarterback. You don't want to say it to his face.
Well, he don't trust that secondary either.
Yeah,
so he knew CeeDee Lamb or somebody would beat him deep.
Detroit, I'm sorry, fans. I like that they're doing better, but you're not a good team. If you don't trust your quarterback, you don't trust your secondary, you're not a good team. You're an okay team, and you made it. Your conference is terrible. So that makes you look better than what you are. And I would wish
the first divisional win in 30 years. Are you kidding me?
I wish people would kind of understand that. I'm now, granted, the fan base, I'm glad you got excited. You got a team that's winning. Same thing with Cleveland. But you got to, if you got this game, you're a good team. You don't have to worry about overtime. You don't have to worry about field goals. You're gonna win the game.
I think Campbell coached reckless. He coached reckless.
No, he don't have the team, Robert. He doesn't have the team to be not worried about being in this situation. Yeah. You cannot win games hoping that the referee calls the right call for you. You can't. If you do that, you're making it easier for your opponent to come in and be like, all right, you're gonna win on this, and we're gonna go ahead and just push. Let
me ask you something. When's the last time you seen a team that was garbage like that? I mean, like Cleveland garbage, Detroit garbage, and a guy come in there and get them straight to the Super Bowl. Maybe Dallas back 30 years ago.
The Giants
he's making the proper steps, man.
Yeah, I mean, but
what do you expect? What do you expect them to be? The number 1 seed and killing everybody?
No, but
you can't build Rome overnight, man.
Yeah, but you can't say that we're a great team. Like you can't. I like his confidence, but his confidence needs to be brought down a little bit. Because Detroit's coming out and these fans never.
I get a sense he's learning.
He's
only been a head coach for 3 years now.
Yeah, I like that that they're winning. I like that they're not losing it, but don't be saying Super Bowl when you ain't even beat the Packers. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
that is, yeah.
You know, so
you're right. They got a tough decision to make with Goff.
That's not tough.
Here's my thing. What about Hooker?
Don't pay him.
Of course, I said that about most of the league. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. You know, I don't know why these owners do this.
I don't know why either, bro.
I guess people like Mike Florio say you're colluding. No, most of these quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Goff, I love that. He's a nice guy. They're not worth. None of these guys are worth that money. You know,
it's not that they're not worth the money. It's that
it's just.
If you pay them that money, can they bring you to the promised land? And the answer is they haven't brought you to the promised land.
Well, that means they're not worth the money.
So don't spend the money that you know, like another team could pay for him and maybe take him to the promised land, but you don't have the team for that. And look, how crazy is it?
Look how good Mahomes is. They're struggling because they're paying him. You know,
right? And
he's a super talent.
I feel bad for that team though, because St. Brown should have been in the Pro Bowl, man. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's.
Oh, he didn't make the pro. Oh, wow. Oh, because he didn't make first team or something.
Right. Like I feel like.
Oh, he's gonna be amped up in that first game.
I feel like he should have been the MVP. He should be in an MVP talk because he's helped Detroit a lot.
Yeah, he's all heart, man. I love Audemars St. Brown. You know, I got to ask you. This wasn't one of the games we talked about, but I didn't expect Arizona to beat Philadelphia here. What's your thoughts about that? Maybe I can get a comment from Jamie. Like I did last week. Well, go ahead. You talk, and I'll see if I can.
All the games started at 1:00, so I was back and forth with this game, trying to see what was going on.
Yeah,
I thought they had it in the bag, and then they went and they did exactly what the Redskins did to them the year before. Just started holding the ball, running the ball, and just making them tired. And then all of a sudden, the score gets flip flop after a touchdown, and you're like, and then you turn the game back and you're like, what's going on?
Not the ending. Yeah, that's sorry about that, brother.
No, it's all right. Yeah. It's not the ending anybody wanted to see. I don't think anybody expected Arizona to do anything. And then
let me see, make sure this is the right one here.
I mean,
not the ending I wanted. This is a tough one, tough pill to swallow.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it.
I mean.
Lord forgive me.
I mean,
now they're a wild card, man. I mean, not unless Dallas blows it to the command. Dallas will take care of business. But it is in Washington. You know, Ron Rivera would love to beat Dallas in his last. He's going to be like Lovie Smith, and he's going to be pulling out trick plays, 2-point conversions. If I would I'd be like Riverboat Ron, onside kicks.
And that team had
that last year with Houston with Lovie Smith.
Yeah, they have enough talent on that team. The Commanders have enough talent on that team to do something. The problem is, they can't help themselves on defense. They're not balanced. They're not a balanced team. So that's an issue that they've been struggling with. But I think they're in a better situation than the Jets and the Giants, anyways. But I'm being open-minded. So.
I hear you, brother. Hey, what's your thoughts? Boy, I almost picked Miami. I'm glad I didn't. Baltimore, man, they wish they was still playing. When you're playing hot like that, you don't really. I know they won't say it. John Harbaugh won't say it publicly.
No, I like that he doesn't.
Right, but he really don't want that bye week. He wants these kids out here, these young men. Excuse me.
Yeah,
he wants them out there playing now. When you beat the 49ers like that, and you roll Miami the next week. You don't want any time off. You want to keep popping.
Keep it going, but
that's going to be a Beyonce.
That's going to be a Beyonce halftime show and mess up that whole game, man.
Yeah. What'd you think about that, man? They ran a rough shot on Miami, didn't they?
Yeah, and Miami again. I feel like they're still trying to get some things together. They depend a lot on the running game, and they got a couple of hurt players right there on their defense. They got a few hurt players.
Yeah, Xavier Howard got hurt.
Yeah,
and Bradley Chubb's done for the year.
Yeah, Chubb's out.
ACL.
So I don't know what Nick Fangio. I don't know what I don't know how much depth they have there in Miami to bring up from. But they need to figure that out. I don't know. I feel crazy about saying this, but I feel like the Chiefs are going to sneak into the Super Bowl this year.
Chiefs?
Yeah.
Well, they could. They could. I mean,
I don't
be overlooked again, even though they're Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to win. Like these teams that.
And players are resting. I mean, now I'm hearing that Mahomes is going to play. Earlier this week, I heard that they're going to bench Mahomes because of resting. So maybe he plays a series or two.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk about this week, man. Not a lot. The reason why I didn't send you that many games because there's a lot of these other games are this has to happen, that
right.
But the ones I sent you, if you win, you got a certain spot. You're in. Like this Houston and Indianapolis, that's tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Winner is in. And of course, if Jacksonville loses to Tennessee, the winner of that game, they'll win the South here.
Does Gardner Minshew have enough to pull this game? Can he be that quarterback?
Well, he's played really well at home for his position. We saw him really deal the Steelers a few weeks ago on Saturday night. We both picked. I think we both picked the Colts that time. When you got Jonathan, it really helps when you got a really good line like that. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
and a pretty good offensive minded head coach.
So, you don't think Stroud coming back is going to uplift that team?
Well, Stroud looked good last week. You know something? I got to thinking about it. Stroud is a rookie. Rookies hit the rookie wall in football just like they do in basketball. But he had that concussion that kept him out like 2 weeks. So maybe that rest for his legs, because he looked good against Tennessee last week.
He did.
Yeah, they buried Tennessee. Vrabel's all ticked off, And I don't know. I got a feeling that they're going to mess around and play well in Indianapolis.
I think that Minshew will, because Minshew has a tendency of being overconfident sometimes.
Yeah.
And over maybe one pass, overthrow pass, or try to run and come up short. And, he towards the end of the games, he doesn't. Sometimes he'll get like baffled. So, I'm gonna pick Houston over the Colts.
Yeah,
I don't think that Minshew has had proper development and coaching that he's need to become a better quarterback. He's played in a lot of games in a lot of different situations, but you still need somebody in your ear. You need somebody, to help you to get better. And he has the potential to be a starting quarterback. You could tell. But if you had to pick between Minshew and
Stroud,
or even what's the guy who hurt his shoulder in the Colts?
Richardson.
Richardson, you're not.
Yeah, he's been out for the season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna be like, like I like Minshew, but I'll probably still pick Richardson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and that's funny. And to the they played in week 2,
mm-hmm.
and the Colts went down there and beat them pretty good. But they beat them in Houston. But my thing is, Stroud started settling in, started playing like that talented player that we know he is. Yeah. And when it comes down to it, when you really want to take the best quarterback, because these teams are pretty evenly balanced here. Right. I'm like you. I actually like Houston to get the win. I was surprised that the Vegas made them a 1-point favorite on the road. So they like Houston too. Now, this is a go either way game. It says 1.5. That's a pick 'em game.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em. But
I'm thinking 27-24. Houston gets that playoff win there. Stroud versus Minshew, and Stroud gets the W there, and they get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's 17-14. I think it's going to be more.
You think it's going to be real low scoring?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know, man. Indoors.
Yeah, but
the deep ball.
Everybody wants to win throwing the deep ball, but defense wins the game, bro.
Yeah, that's true. But so we'll be agree on that. I didn't think we would agree on that one. Okay. Now Miami at Buffalo, Miami. Xavier Howard's out. Bills seem pretty healthy here. Bills went up there. They beat Miami in Buffalo when earlier in the year. We both thought Miami was going to win that game, but Buffalo ran rough shot on them then. We know about their seesaw season. This is a big game Sunday night. I don't see what's going to stop Buffalo here. They got one center that's questionable.
Oh, you
but
love
Miami,
Miami,
no Bradley Chubb either. Miami will be ready because they got humiliated last week. But Buffalo, I like Buffalo, man. 31-23.
The other way around. I think it's going to be 27-24. I think it's going to be.
You think Miami's going to do it?
Yeah, I think Miami's going to do it. They're
going to rally around Tyreek Hill. You know his house burned down.
Yeah, I know. They're going to.
Wow, man.
They're going to be. They're going to be motivated, I think, to win this game. The only thing that they have to do is make sure that there's nobody rushing on the Bills side except for Allen. If Allen's the only one running in circles, they're going to win this game.
Okay.
Because they don't. Hey, man. They're not a balanced running team at all. Like, they've tried it, they've done it, and they beat a team or two doing it, but they haven't had 100-yard rushing. They've only had like one or maybe a game and a half. They didn't. I think there was a second game that maybe 94 yards or something.
You talking about Cook, James Cook?
Yeah, well, he only he only had one 100 rushing game. So that's vital. That's important because it allows the defense to kind of stay home, and then you can get those small outlet passes going. And look, Diggs hasn't had a good game. This not going to be a breakout game for him either.
Yeah,
they don't shut him down. So.
Well, every time you write Miami off, they end up bouncing back.
I'm not worried about the Bills.
And they're 7-1 at home, by the way.
I don't understand why the rest of the media is worried about the Bills. They gonna go exactly where they belong. Gone fishing, Lake Placid.
I'm trying to think, who was it that beat Miami at home? Oh, Tennessee. Yeah. They overlooked Tennessee on Monday night.
Robert, every team is beatable, but you have to understand there has to be something.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just because. That's a pretty good feat right there, 7-1. I don't even think the Baltimore Ravens, the Colts beat them up there early this year.
Right, but again,
7-1 at home, much better offensive operation.
If you're playing the Bills, what scares you about the Bills?
Well,
is it the
defense? This is the best offensive line Allen's had since he's been there.
They don't use it, Robert. They don't use it. They've been up and down all year, bro.
They've been more up than down lately. That's your opinion, man. That's what makes a good show, man. Yeah, I'm not saying McDermott. If they lose, I'm going to blame McDermott. I expect them to win.
If they lose, you don't blame McDermott. You blame the fact that they don't have a running game that's consistent.
Yeah,
that's what you blame. Because
who's responsible for that?
You've been saying
Sean McDermott. He's where the buck stops. You know?
You've been saying that from the get. Oh, they got a better line. They stole the offensive lineman from.
No, well, I'm just telling you the facts, dude.
But they don't. How many 100-yard games had they had? Barely one, and nobody expected them to run the ball that game, which is why they got
one thing. Your stats are way. Let me just correct. Let me fact check you in real time.
Yeah, do it.
You want to talk crazy?
I ain't talking crazy.
I have to fact check you because I know he's had like 375 all-purpose yard games in a row. James Cook.
100 all-purpose, not rushing. I'm talking about rushing the ball.
I had 48 against New England. Yeah, New England stacking the box though. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. And he had a huge game against Kansas City, Buffalo, or Dallas. You're talking about that one road game against the Chargers in the middle of the week like that? Yeah. Nobody's going to be dominant every single week.
What I'm saying is they haven't been dominant running the ball either, Robert. And you saying they have a line to help them.
Well, I'm just reading the actual stats. This is the least he's been sacked.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just telling you what the Pro Football Focus says. You can argue with them, man, all you want to, man.
I'm not arguing with them. I'm saying that they either got to win or they're out.
Yeah. Well, no, there's other scenario. If they win, they're a 2 seed.
And if they lose, that's it. They don't have any opportunity.
No, I think they'll be a wild card.
No, they're not a wild card.
They're 10-6.
They have to win or they're out.
Yeah.
That's the situation. It's win and done.
You're just making up stuff here. Bills playoff scenario.
Win or go home.
Can glitch. Oh, they're going to go up there. They're going to go down there and mop them. You know, I mean, it's just not unless they go down there and act a fool. But I don't see why they would.
And the only person
Buffalo clinches playoffs with win or Pittsburgh loses. Now Pittsburgh will probably beat Baltimore because Baltimore's going to Jacksonville lose or tie, or Houston lose or tie. None of that stuff is a given. None of that's a given. And it's not a given that Pittsburgh will beat Baltimore, even with backups. Baltimore's deep. So there's a possibility Buffalo can be out. There's a possibility.
I'll more put a wager on that than put them in the playoffs.
All right. Hey, man, you're a narrative guy, and that's what I like about you. That's good. I'm not. If I was a narrative guy, I'd still say that.
You've been hopeful for the Bills since 1992, man. I got you. It's all good.
Yeah, I still got the Jim Kelly jersey back there, Get out of here. All right. So what do you think about the national championship game Monday, man? You go ahead and give your analysis.
I think that the Michigan's in it for the first 2 quarters, and then Washington is just going to clean up house. They play on a different level. Michigan is going to try to hold the time of possession and run the ball a little bit and try to get at Washington's secondary. But every time people bet against that defense, they end up showing up and doing something big. So
Washington or Michigan?
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, oh, that defense ain't solid. That defense ain't solid. But that defense is good. So it's not going to be great. You don't need to play great defense. You need to play good defense, and your offense needs to score. So their offense can score, so that helps them. So I feel like my dark horse is going to take it all this year. Washington. Remember, I called it, right? Washington,
no, you said you thought Penix will win the Heisman. You almost nailed that, though.
Yeah, no. But I also said that Washington was going to play Alabama, and
you know what? I'll have to go find that tape. You probably will have to go. I'll have to go back and listen to it.
No, Washington was one of my picks, but it's going to be 36-32, something like that.
Okay,
something crazy like that.
Yeah. You know what? My heart wants Michigan to win because I've always liked Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, jeez.
But my head tells me Washington looks like the better team. Washington don't struggle. Michigan struggles. They struggled against Penn State.
I know.
Penn State can't score on nobody, man.
They struggled with Ohio State, and Ohio State had Harrison on
3 points against Missouri,
Yeah, they had Harrison on the bench for I don't know for what reason every second and third down. I was like, what the put the guy on the field?
Right.
And they still
against Notre Dame. So, you think Michigan also, if you look at a traditional process of a team coming up, like Michigan made it last year to the playoff, 21 of 22 starters came back from Michigan. All that you got Jim Harbaugh, big time coach there. I wouldn't be surprised. That's why they're favored, probably.
Right.
But then you look at Washington, big wins over Oregon,
Utah.
Neutral site game. Texas was never in that game.
Right.
They could have won at the very end. They got a little conservative there. But I just got a sense that Washington is going to take this game 28-24.
Yeah,
it'll be a tight game.
They played USC. They played
USC,
Utah,
Oregon twice, by the way.
Oregon State.
Oregon State's very hard to win up there. They've blown a lot of good teams out of. They're what, 10-win team, Oregon State?
Yeah.
Yeah, now could it go the other way?
Of course.
McCarthy's going to have to play better. It's not even close. But if you look at, and I still may have a screenshot between McCarthy and Penix, Michael Penix. It's not even close. It's difference in daylight and dark, man.
It is, and that's just the way their offense rolls in Michigan.
Yeah. Maybe that's
they have a very basic running type of scheme, and I'm not saying that Washington has a very technical and big old offense either, but they don't. It's very the scheme is you can pick it. It's very easy to defend. Whereas in Washington, because you have Penix who can run and throw, even if you scheme to stop him, you still got to stop him from running. So that's the difference.
And plus, they've got some would say Michigan's got a very good secondary, but my thing is you can't defend the perfect pass. This guy can thread the needle though. It's not like he's throwing guys wide. They're not like they're running. This is not like USC with Matt Leinart 15 years ago, where you had guys running down the middle of the field wide open.
Penix threw the ball 3 times to 3 different receivers, and all 3 of those throws were defended to almost a T. Maybe one of them, one of the receivers got a half step because he was faster.
Yeah,
but bro,
he's done that all year, man.
But you've seen it in a championship game because you're thinking, oh, it's the maybe he's lucky, maybe he's like no, the guy perfectly defend that. In other words, even if you play perfect defense on these wide receivers,
right? He has
a capability.
Wouldn't you like him to be a Steeler?
Whoa.
Because the Ravens, they got that perfect defense, but you get a guy like him and Pickens there. Now, I'm not sure about Tomlin. I want an offensive-minded background. You know what? Do you think Todd Monken, somebody may pick him up? Speaking of offensive coordinators.
As a coach?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He did great with Bennett in Georgia.
Right.
Look, Lamar's going to win the MVP. And some of those plays they schemed up are pretty good, Yeah,
and what I
it's
like.
It's not all Lamar. Some of them good schemed up plays too,
And Monken has the ability of using the player and his potential, right? So in Georgia, Bennett wasn't going to be running a football and getting 30, 40 yards a game.
Yeah,
but he knew that he had an O-line that would allow Stetson to at least get like 10 to 20 yards a game.
Yeah.
And he did that.
True.
He made sure that they keep the linebackers honest and the safeties looking in by allowing Stetson to run the ball just a little bit, right? He's not a 100-yard rusher.
Yeah.
He's
but
not.
They did call a quarterback like sweep.
Sweep, yeah.
That's why he called in the championship game.
Yeah. So
everything worked against TCU last year.
No, but
that was like a Madden game, dude.
Yeah, man, Monken I like him, and I just wish the Jets would have picked him up.
What if the Titans? Pickles said I've talked about this yesterday. There is a report that Vrabel may want out. What if he does? What if the Titans trade him to New England, for example? Would Todd Monken be a good fit here in Tennessee?
I mean, Todd Monken would fit in any NFL coaching staff. He might. Yeah. I'm not sure.
He's an older coach now. I don't know if he's good head coaching material.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't. Sometimes
I give him an interview.
Yeah, because he could be like a Charlie Weiss kind of guy, and he's just not be a good coach.
Right. Talk a big game, but he's a terrible.
No. Charlie Weiss's problem was the fact that he won a few Super Bowls, and he thought he would just keep winning, and that's not how that works. So
yeah, every time they would get down in those Notre Dame games, I was just joking with my dad. He would call the team over, and he's doing this. He's like, okay, first of all, somebody give me a hot dog. My blood sugar's getting down. Second of all, we're going to be okay, but I got to get me something to eat. Give me a Snickers,
What are we eating after the game, guys? Come on. I want to make sure we got the right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, I feel bad for the guy because he, I think he should have came back to the NFL and done bigger things,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if Vrabel does or not. I mean, that's a story there. I think he stays, but who knows?
Ohio State?
No. Well, they'd have to fire Ryan Day, and I'm sure the fans wouldn't mind that.
I'll fire him in 2 seconds if I knew Vrabel.
Yeah, that's true. No, trading to New England, get a first-round pick or a future first round.
They ain't gonna give
and go get an offensive-minded background, So, anyways,
offense here, man. You pushing that offense this year, huh?
You got anything to plug, Chief?
Yo, I'm on every Friday mornings at
9 a.m. Eastern.
TGI Sports. Are you serious? Keith Engels as a co-host on the Northeast Streaming Sports Network, and then I'm also on the Northeast Stream on Let's Talk Sports Network on Wednesday nights at 9:00 for the NFC East roundup. We're going to have our last show coming up because of the playoffs. So maybe we'll continue through the playoffs, and maybe we'll even try to do a draft show too. So we're looking.
That's always fun, ain't it?
Yeah. So we're looking towards that. So yeah, those are, and then here every Friday night at 8:00 Eastern time.
Yeah, last but not least there. Okay, let me ask you this. Dig in your memory. Who did Keith pick Monday?
For
national championship.
We talked about it, but he didn't pick. Did he pick? No, he said Ohio. It was
I got so sideways I didn't get a chance to listen.
No, I mean we started talking about other things, and then he just pulled Rogers out of his hat like a rabbit. Yeah,
I love Keith, man. He's great, man. I mean, he really knows his stuff.
I think he wants Washington to win, but don't take me for that.
Okay. I really would like to see Harbaugh win. I mean, I know a lot of people just can't stand him.
Yeah, no, and what I did say.
Wouldn't you like to see him win and just go out on top and then go to the NFL?
I want my pick to win, but what I did.
Well, I want my pick, yeah, too. But part of me wouldn't mind seeing Harbaugh win, you know?
No, what I did say is that J.J. McCarthy played himself into at least the second and third round as a quality quarterback.
Well, Borges thinks he's the first round. I don't think they showcased him that much, though, you know?
Borges thinks he's going to be a first rounder?
Yeah. Well, Borges is real high on C.J. Stroud last year.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't think this guy's a normal Ohio State quarterback. And he was spot on like nobody's business, you know?
Whoa, man. You know what? We should try to do a draft show with Borges.
Oh, man.
That would be nice. I wanted to pick his brain to see what he thinks about.
Well, something I could possibly do a group thing with you and Al Borges and ask him what does he think? Does he have any comments on the quarterback? Because, you know, he's an offensive guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Man,
a lot of people, my friends at work were like, man, that was a great interview. How'd you get that guy from Michigan? I was like, dude, that was a replay. I was sick as a dog. But my man, Al Borges, he used to be the offensive coordinator for Michigan. You know he's on cloud now. I'll bring him in. Now, if they win, I got to get his side. If they lose, I'm not because he'll probably be bummed out. But
who does he pick? Who's he picking for this game?
Oh, Al's probably going to go Michigan.
Because
he said this is the best offensive line they've had.
Oh, gosh.
He said everybody, but remember they lost the guard.
Yeah.
They lost the guard in the Ohio State game, but they beat Alabama.
I know, but
Alabama should not have gave up that 4 minutes to go. Alabama needed 2 stops, man.
Too much time. They left too much time. But that's the thing with the depth.
Saban, he's never going to forget this. He's ticked, man.
Yeah, he gonna come back, I think.
Yeah, he'll be all right. Yeah. Monroe will probably win the Heisman next year and they'll win the national championship. You know?
And here's the thing. Here, I got this as a hot take. This is going to be a rematch. Texas, Alabama in the playoffs.
Ooh. Playoffs?
We ain't even started.
Hey, this year we're going to have 12-team playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like
I'm hyped, dude.
I want to see it.
You're making me feel better already. I wish it was September. I wish it was Labor Day weekend.
Dude.
It's only January 5th.
No, but you know what? With the Borges thing, because there's a lot of quarterbacks that I feel like they're saying they're going to come out, but they might just be 4 because there's 7, right? 7 to 8 guys. They might be 4.
It really is that. Yeah.
So I think they're just going to be 4 because of the lack of defensive linemen and O linemen that some of these teams have.
Well, you think it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4? The top 4?
With the quarterbacks?
Yeah.
No. I think they're just going to be 4 in the first round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think because there's a lot.
Well, Jalen Daniels is getting a lot. A lot of this is going to come up to in the next month, the 8 weeks. It's going to come up to those workouts and those combines. I know it's stupid. I'm just telling you how the NFL works. We see this every year.
Oh yeah, no. But I saw already a pick where Jalen Daniels was going to the Giants, and I almost threw up. I was like, they need to sell that. The New York teams cannot draft. You know what? The New York teams in all of the sports. They like the guy who's first time going to the club, all nervous and spilling beer everywhere.
They get too excited. That is true.
Yeah, don't know what kind of drink.
It's been like that for 30 years with those New York teams.
Oh my God, it's just bad. And I'm just like,
at least they're moving the draft around. You don't have all those locals there all the time.
Oh Lord, that's like
booing people. Remember they used to boo like the draft picks.
It was like the guy who finally won some money in the lottery and he goes to the casino and he's like, I don't know. That's what it's like.
I mean, you remember before it was always in Radio Music City Hall.
Yeah,
and they'd be like so and so for the Jets, and they're booing the heck out of their like a first round pick, man.
No, they booed what's his name?
They're hollering sap, or something. And then you get this offensive line. They're like, man, just like what?
Yeah,
this is my hello.
That when they booed, what's his name? From West Virginia, for Seattle.
Pat White.
No, the quarterback. from Seattle right now?
Oh, Geno Smith.
Oh man, they picked Geno.
Get out of here, kid.
Like, woo,
Go back home, kid. Go back home.
It was like burning.
I forgot he played for West Virginia.
I
don't know how I remember Pat White, man. He went to Miami.
Pat White. I mean, he played.
He looked good for about 20 minutes there, and then that Wildcat crap didn't.
Yeah, 2 games for the Dolphins, right? Like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. Parcells said he screwed. Yeah. Kickles is right. Chad Henne was booed, but they cheered him once he started getting to the playoffs. Then he started getting hurt again. They booed him again.
Oh my God. Oh God.
So,
oh man.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Rough week for me.
Happy New Year. Good luck with everything, man. You know, let's get it done 2024, man.
Yeah. I'll see you next Friday. And thank you, everybody. If you like the show, share the show. And shout out to the, make sure and watch, folks. I'm going to be either pumped up on medication or I'll be fully healthy. But come Monday, actually, there won't be a show Monday because we got a national championship on. But come Tuesday, Black Monday is going to happen. We're going to have a whole lot of firings in the NFL. That's your tease.
Ooh.
That's your thing.
We should do a pregame before the game.
Well,
you got
depends
time?
on how I feel, brother.
Amped up on medication. Don't worry, I got my pharmacy card for that.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, man. See you, everybody.
Happy New Year.